30, you have $2,048,000 in month 33, and you have $4,096,000 in month 36. If you can consistently get 24% per month for 36 months, and you don't ever take any out, you don't ever put any more in, you start with $1,000, you have $4,096,000. Now, here's the challenge. Here's the challenging part. Now you got to figure out, how can I get 24% per month? And the answer is, I don't know. You have to look. Are there ways to get 24% per month? Well, there are ways. There are some people who invest in markets. There are some people who invest in the commodities market that do this. There are people who invest in the options market who do this. There are some people in the stock market. It's going to be a lot less likely, especially if you're doing long-term buy and hold. But there are strategies that you can do with your money. You could become, now you're not going to get 24% per month, but even if you got 24% per year, you'd have $4.6 million in 36 years. That's a whole lot better than what most people got going on, because most people can figure out how to come up with $1,000. And if you figure out how to come up with $1,000 and you can start putting that money to work in different investment vehicles until you find the vehicle that's going to give you the best return, you could be on your way to creating legacy wealth for your family. Some of the people in the past who've created wealth, they've created so much wealth in such a short period of time because they made their money in the right economic era in which they started out, right? They made their money in the economic era in which they were in. But then what do? Then they applied the money that they made to this formula. Hey, what's going to happen for some of you? There's some of you watching this right now who are millionaires already. And here's the problem. You might have $3, $4, $5, $6 million sitting in the stupid checking account is. Do you have any idea what a checking account is? A checking account is an account where you loan your money to the bank interest-free. And then they go loan that money to other people and back to you and charge you for it on a credit card. That doesn't make sense. Why would you loan your money to the bank interest-free? Why not do with your money what the bank is doing with your money? Why not do with your money what the other financial institutions are doing with your money, instead of putting your money in the bank and hoping that putting it in a certificate of depreciation, deposit, that's what they call it, a CD, right? That doesn't make any sense. Figure out how to get your money working for you, because I've got news for you. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember this, and I'm going to end on this. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember this. Either your money is going to work for you or it's going to work against you. Either it's going to work for you and against the system, or it's going to work for the system against you. Now, what you got to do after watching this video is decide whose side you want your money to work for. In the meantime, in between time, I hope you like this video. You say, Myron, but you didn't tell me where to get 24% per month. Go find it. Go find out where you can get 24% per year. Go find out where you can get 12% per year. Go find out how to get a better rate of return on your money than you're getting with it sitting in a stupid checking account. Start there. And the more you make yourself understand financial principles, the more financial principles will be made available to you. All right, hope that helps you. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed by the best. Peace out, Cub Scouts. I'll see you on the next video.
So one thing you should make sure that never happens in the economy in your home is your money should never be sitting. So that's why we at Wealth Builders Worldwide have embarked upon K. What is Project 50K? It's an effort, a project, if you will, as we are running an effort to produce 50,000 millionaire families. And as you heard the great Myron Golden talk about, your money should not be sitting in a bank. Your money should not be not working for you. It should be working for you. I mean, you work for that hard-earned paper currency, and at some point you should be able to transition to make your money work for you. But most people get stuck in having their money work for others, and they're not getting anywhere near the benefit. Thus, they've got to keep on working. That's why Project 50K has been birthed, and we are ready to help you and show you that way. Yes, he did the formula about the rule of 72, and the key is you've got to find a way to make more money, double your money faster. Well, guess what? I got good news for you. We found that way. And just sit with us for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to share that with you. So I've got to let you know that this is a presentation to explore and explain and show you the benefits of the project within GS Partners and the membership rewards that it gives you. There are products and projects that we have available that will help you to propel the economy in your own home. So look, take a screenshot of this so that you can read it at your own leisure and know that we're serious about this. We have crossed every T, dotted every I. We have taken every measure to be in compliance with every agency necessary. We've got all the licensing and all the partnerships available to bring to the table that product, that thing that's going to help you to accelerate everything you are planning to do, dreaming to do in the economy in your home. So look, I've got to let you know, we are not financial advisors and we are not offering financial advice. We're showing you a way that you can take. And based on what we found, 95% of the people, they're trying to save and grow their money. They really are. But they're using traditional methods to do it. And I've got to let you know, like Mr. Myron Golden said, it's working against you. How do I know that? Well, think about your savings account. Your savings account is basically a holding tank. It's a holding, it's a placeholder. You are saving it, but it's a put and take. You can put it in, you can take it out. It's not growing. It's not a growing account. It's a savings account. And then, of course, what about this thing that you've probably heard of, the 401k? Oh, my goodness. If you've heard any presentations prior to this and the ones you'll hear after this, we've got to let you know that that, again, is not, your money's not working for you. It's a placeholder. And then at the end of that particular product or project, when you are starting to take disbursements, how much do you have available? I mean, look, if you get excited about $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 over the course of 40 years that you have placed in this 401k, you need to think bigger, dream bigger. And I'm just sharing information with you. How about this one? Bonds. I spoke to a gentleman the other day and he said, I'm good. I'm investing in bonds. Okay, again, money not working for you. You're putting your money to work for someone else who's getting the biggest return on it and maybe giving you a fraction of that. I mean, come on. Those days should be over for you. What about this one? What about stocks? You know what? The house is going to always win, period. I mean, you're going to get a little bit here and there. You get the trickles. You get the set-asides. Isn't it time for you to stop looking for and getting excited about set-asides? I apologize. I'm not hollering at you. I'm just thinking about these methods and conveying to you as best as I can, man, we can do better. There is a better way. There's a much better way, as a matter of fact. So let me show you this. In this new digital era, whether you understand it or not, it's happening. It started almost 2 decades ago, and it's going strong. It has made multi-millionaires of multiple people all around the globe. That's why we can comfortably say with Project 50K, oh, it's going to be simple. All you've got to do is posture yourself in a position of learning, a position of coaching, do the steps, look at the results, and the rest will be history. It's about you making the best out of everything that you're doing with your money. So I'm going to present to you what's called metaverse certificates. And I'm going to show you the power of these metaverse certificates. And we're going to highlight one certificate in particular. And I'm going to show you some others in a minute. So that certificate is called the Hermes certificate. That Hermes certificate has a price point of $1,000 and a load point of $1,000. So you acquire the Hermes certificate and then you load it. Once it's fully loaded, that kicks off multiple benefits, one of which is a bonus of more that will be added to that certificate load. And then that load will start to compound at the behest of our tech partner. And all you got to do is sit back, look at the dates as they go and come, and watch where your life will go. And we've got a strategy that's going to help you to maneuver through this metaverse certificate process. But I've got to let you know, these metaverse certificates are the most potent product to date that have been released in the world. And you got to see this. You've got to jump in because your compounding will work on your behalf. Look at this. We've got a compounded portfolio certificate table that I want to show you. Now, look, this is not a guarantee of anything except for showing you what these products do. It's an illustration that we're going to lay at your eyes so that you can see the possibilities when you take action. So we talked about the Hermes certificate, but first we want to talk about with all of these certificates, there is an initial cost out of pocket. So the price of the certificate, wherever you start, will be your initial price that you pay for your certificate. And then we've got the rewards that come from those certificates after the period of time that the certificate is active. And that's 18 months. So in 18 months, wherever you start, you will receive or look to receive an amount in rewards that will give you the opportunity to do even more. Now, with the Project 50K, we're talking about becoming a multimillionaire within 6 years or less. And you'll see this with this strategy. Check this strategy out. So you start with the Hermes certificate. It's a suggestion, a recommendation, if you will. So you're starting with that certificate, and it's 2,000 USDT out of pocket. And that 2,000 USDT out of pocket is going to bring you around 13,000 in rewards. So what do you do then? Go on a party cruise? No. Host a party? No. Go on a spending spree? No. Remember, we are working on a project, and that project is 6 years or less. So what you want to do is take that 13,000 plus, and you want to apply those rewards to the next certificate. That next certificate you want to look at is the Apollo. That Apollo is going to cost you 10,000 out of pocket. So that's going to leave you with 3,000 left, right? So look, go back and get another Hermes. So now you got two products in the play and in the makings. And oh my goodness, you've got to just stay tuned so we can show you how this works. So you've got your Hermes, which yielded you a reward. Then you got your Apollo, and you got another Hermes. Now the Apollo reward is going to be over $60,000. So what do you do with that reward? After 18 months, go ahead and put that into that next certificate, that Hera certificate, which is a $60,000 certificate. And so you're going to have more left over. So go ahead, as you have that 5,000, and get you an Aphrodite certificate. So you're rolling your rewards to get to the point where you want to get to. But let's check out this Hera certificate. It's going to bring a reward of over $300,000. And what do you do with that? Go ahead and pop to the Zeus. That Zeus certificate is where you want to be. It's 300,000 cost out of pocket, 100,000 price, 200,000 to load, and look at the reward that you will achieve. 2,200,000 plus. Now look, you've got the Hermes, you've got the Apollo, you've got the Hera, you got the Zeus, all working in tandem, and then they're hopscotching, and you can go back and get the Aphrodite, you can get the Athena, you can get the Poseidon, so that before the end of this whole process, way before 6 years are up, you'll have every certificate and you can just add up all of the returns. And that, my friend, is where you will end up with the economy in your home, having the cash flow, residual money working for you. You'll never have to work a day in your life. You'll have so much cash flow to be able to deal with and be able to control that you can make sure all of your kids are good, make sure all your loved ones are taken care of. And you don't have to do it for them, but show them and guide them on how to do it for themselves. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what your big banks are doing. This is what your the house stock market is doing. This is what the people that start these bonds and all these other instruments are doing. This is what they're doing. So why not you? You can do this. And it starts out with $2,000 out of pocket. The rest, you'll achieve through rewards. So folks, let me tell you something. This is called legacy wealth. Here's another opportunity for you. So you have gotten into this thing for yourself. You started with your metaverse certificates, and it's getting so good that you have to tell somebody. You tell your spouse, you tell your friend, you tell your siblings, you tell your kids, and then you get an account for them by getting one person active in an account. It'll open up 3 levels of income for you. But you're not going to stop at 1. You'll say you do 2. It will open up 6 levels of income for you. Say you invite 3 people that get registered and get these certificates, you'll open up 9 levels of residual income for you. Now, these are reward levels where you get paid on everything that happens under you. So you get your son in. Your son has a friend, tells his friend, and his friend wants to get in too. So he gets in under your son, which is your 3rd level, 2nd level, and then it keeps on going down. So you see how that works? So that's yet another way of increasing the streams of money working for you. This is amazing. And once you continue to achieve and accumulate all those assets, because we're talking about the blockchain, cryptocurrency space, you can make sure that you can utilize those assets, those rewards, by acquiring the GS Lifestyle account. Get your GS Lifestyle account and card and move funds as you need it to your card and utilize your card to buy whatever you want to buy. What is the largest thing that you can think about buying? Well, you could do that with your own economy, with your own cash flow, with your own assets, put on your own account in your GS Lifestyle card, swipe your card, pay for your car, 1 payment, and you're done. Yeah, I pause for a minute because this is a lot of potent information that you've got to know. And when you make these moves, remember, I asked you, are you in a position of being teachable and coachable? Are you in a position to listen to information that we've gathered and that we've tested and that we experience? And are you in a position to put this to work? If that's you, somebody invited you and you're ready, just type me in the chat bar. I want to make sure that you are grasping this concept, you're grasping this strategy, and you're ready to make the moves. Everything we're doing is above board, all the way on the table. All the group licenses are in place. All of the compliance issues are in place, and it's a global instrument. We've got people from New Zealand to China, from Canada to Asia, from London to Europe, all over the place. Brazil, South America, North America, every continent on the globe can utilize this strategy. So this is big. That's right. Thank you for that. So it's all about getting started. I mean, it's great to hear the information. You know, Mr. Myron Golden said, you know, when you get 24% back, you can double your money in a short period of time. And then you ask, well, how do you do that? Well, here it is. We've already told you. We shared it with you, and here it is. Step 1, simply get registered. Take action. Take that first step and register for the account. Get the account active. Load that account with your cryptocurrency so that you can acquire your metaverse certificate. Once you acquire your metaverse certificate, put it in place. Now all you're doing is watching that timeline because it's going to tell you when your rewards will be available. And while you're doing that and experiencing the greatness of this product, I know you're going to want to share with some people. So refer everyone that you desire. And you'll only see that it will increase more and more and more. I know you're in that number. I know that's what you want. So ahead of time, I want to welcome you to our community, to our culture, to this product and the Project 50K, because we are not stopping. Well, you can also make sure that you are connected to the strategy sessions that come every single day at noon and 9 p.m. And we're going to share this information again and again and again until you get it. So all I'm saying is get it because it's here for you. Thank you so much for listening.
Recording stopped.
Core of this stuff, man. So, those are the 5 skills. You ready to go to number 6? How many people have at least 8 pages of notes so far? Fantastic. Skill number 6 is getting your new person started right. This is where duplication lives. Duplication happens inside of this skill. Helping a person get started effectively, helping a person create some action, helping a person get some results. Because it's like an egg timer. I sign this guy up, I got to turn the egg timer, and if he doesn't get some results before that bell chimes, ding, he's gone. If he doesn't get a customer pretty quick, if he doesn't get a great product experience pretty quick, if he doesn't get a distributor earn a check of $1 or something pretty quick, he's going to be gone. So let me show you how this works. In every network marketing career, there's a line. And on this side of the line, it's easy to stay and build and grow. And on this side of the line, it's easy to quit. Remember I told you, all of the stuff that we do is really buying time for a person to develop into the ultimate influencer that they have inside of them. This whole game is about buying time. One of my mentors told me something, 20 years ago. Rocked my world. He said, Eric, you want to know the secret to success in network marketing? I said, what's that? He said, here it is. Convince people to stay in the business 90 more days. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's the whole secret. They start having doubts, convince them to stay 90 more days. They're not sure, get them to stay till Easter. They don't know if it's for them, get them to stay till Independence Day. They're still not sure, get them to stay till Thanksgiving. 90 more days, 90 more days, 90 more days. Get it. Convince them somehow to stay around, because your job is, if you do that long enough, eventually the penny drops and they decide to really build and do something on their own without your push. But in the meantime, it's a push. Keep them around. Guess what? You're either moving up or you're moving out in network marketing. That's what it is. It's up or out. Unless you're going to be a customer. Then you can just hang out. But for the rest of it, it's up or out. Now, one side of the line, it's easy to quit. Other side is easy to stay. What would cause people, give me some examples, just shout them out, that would cause people to stay in your business? A paycheck. A free product. Health transformation. Sorry? Let's say they attend an event. Recognition. Perks. Friends. Friends is huge. Huh? Travel. Let's say they win a trip or something, they go travel somewhere. Community. Let's get back simpler. Think about the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Huh? Just one customer in the first 30 days might help somebody. One friend in the first 30 days might cause them to stay around for another 30 days. One little paycheck of $1 or more. Show them that this is for real. A great product experience. Yeah, if they personally grow. Right? All of this, you know what all these different things do? Is it buys you time. If they grow, yeah, if they rank advance. A Mercedes, yeah. So all of these things What if they tell the world that they're in? What if they go and tell their whole world, I joined this company and I'm going to the top? Will that cause them to stay longer than if they wouldn't have? Of course. Little things. Making a friend. Getting connected. Going to the company convention. Attending an event. Getting a product experience. Getting recognized. Getting appreciated. Being part of a community. All these little things make it easier for them to stay. Now, what's the opposite of these things makes it easy to quit? If they don't get a check, if they don't earn enough so their products is free, if they don't have a positive product experience, or they don't even take the product, it's easier to quit. If they don't rank advance, it's easier to quit. If they don't get a customer, it's easy to quit. If they don't tell the world, if they hide out, it's easy to quit. They don't get recognized, it's easy to quit. If they don't make friends, it's easy to quit. If they don't personally grow, it's easy to quit. So what I want you to think about in this particular skill, I'm going to talk to you more about systems tomorrow, but let me just talk to you quickly about systems here. Systems are critical if you want to have big growth and duplication in your organization. They're critical. Now, here's how you know if you have a system. Everyone knows what the system is. Everyone does it. And it works. That's when you know you have a system. Everybody knows, everybody does it, and it works. This is very rare in network marketing because most people don't know what your system is, even if you think they do. Most people don't do it, even if they say they do. And it probably works, but the first two are the critical element. And when people look at a system, what you want them to say in their minds, this looks simple. I think it will work. And I think I could do it. That's what you want people to think about when they look at your system. That looks simple. I think it'll work, and I think I could do it. And here's how you know you have a system. If everyone knows it, everyone does it, and it's working in the marketplace. Now, again, I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow, and there's over 100 companies represented in this room, but there are several systems that you must have if you want to develop rock-solid growth within your organization. System number one is a customer acquisition system. You tell people, this is what you do, these are the tools that you use, these are the words that you say, here's how you get a customer. Step, 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 step. Number two, a distributor acquisition system. This is what you do. This is where it gets a little bit more fuzzy. Most of you have 1 million of these based upon 1 million different personalities. Everyone knows, everyone does, and it works. Do you have that? You need to be constantly in search of that with a distributor acquisition system, complete with tools, words, trainings, everything else, to be able to simplify, remove too much thinking from too many people, and have people have a track to run on. 3, a getting started system. You want to make this work, getting started, you've got to have a getting started process that is standardized. If you want to have long-term growth, I can whisper a getting started system into your ear, but 4 generations down, it's gone. If I have a standardized one, even if it's simple, basic, this, now you've got a chance. People can add their personality to it, but ultimately, it's really critical that this becomes standardized. Simple, basic, Now, you might say, no, I got one. It's standardized. And if I could ask 10 people on your team, what's the getting started system? And they won't tell me the same answer. That's where a leader needs to show up to make sure that that process happens. So everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it works. Number 4 is event promotion system. One of the most important things you can do, and we're going to talk about skill number 7, promoting events, in a moment. But an event promotion system, do you have a system to promote from convention to convention? Or is it just you got to get excited? Is there a system for it? If you don't have one, you need to establish one. What's your event promotion system from event to event inside of your organization that's causing you to be able to have more growth than anybody else? And 5, an influencer development system. We're going to talk about that tomorrow morning. How do you identify potential influencers and mentor them in a systematic way to develop more talent within your organization instead of putting more and more pressure on the same influencers that have been in place for too long? So I'm going to talk to you. We talked earlier today about finding prospects and inviting those prospects to take a look, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a short course, about 10, 15 minutes each, on the remaining 5 skills. Some basic direction for you to be able to improve, get better, take your business to the next level. Presenting. She talked about doing PBRs, and PBRs are a way of presenting, yes? But I want to give you some framework in order for you to feel strong about what you need to do in presentation. First is your story. We talked about story. Every one of you needs to get solid on your story, not only with you, but everybody on your team. Okay? We don't need to talk about that again. We got that. Story's number one. And in story, I just want to say the different places to use it. Use it in that PBR. Use it on a three-way phone call. Use that story in Facebook Messenger. Use that story on social media. That story needs to be everywhere. The whole world needs to know that story. So story's number one. Number two in presenting is to use tools and events. Third party many times is better than first party. For your prospects, for you to put people in front of a video instead of you giving the facts, sometimes has more credibility. If you put somebody on the phone with somebody else, or if you bring somebody to an event like this or a local event, let the event do the work for you at the beginning. Let the tool do the work for you. You get more leverage using tools and events. Events are highly effective because relationships change when you're face to face. There's social proof. There's all kinds of good things that happen at an event, but sometimes they're more difficult to get people to invite and show up. So tools you can scale. I remember the first tool that I was introduced to. My company came out with a video cassette. They sold it for like $15. They had a bunch of celebrities on it, and it was cool, man. They did the presentation, and I started off in my career originally inviting people to an event and letting the event do the work. And then the company came out with a tool, and I'm like, whoa. That means I can have an event happen any minute of the day, 24 hours a day. So the videotapes were $15 a piece. I bought 100 of them for $1,500. And I started to go out, and I went to a person and said, hey, I learned how to properly pass out a tool. And I learned that if I said, please watch my video, nobody would ever watch. So I learned how to effectively invite somebody. By essentially, I'll give you the short course on it. If I gave you this videotape that has all this information, life-changing information on it, and you could watch it at your convenience, and it'd take you about 40 minutes. If I gave you this videotape, would you watch it? Not saying I will, but if I did, would you watch it? They say yes. When could you see it for sure? Oh, I could see it by tomorrow night. All right, fantastic. So if I called you after tomorrow night, you'll see it for sure, right? Yeah. All right, what's the best number and time for me to call? 10 a.m. cell phone. All right, fantastic. Here it is. I learned how to do that effectively and then to follow up professionally. And now I had 100 meetings happening. If I was effective in getting people to watch, it's like, holy moly, the leverage I could get from that. Now today, you can click a link and have a meeting happening. Can't you? Either a live Zoom call or something, recorded, a webinar, recorded, or some static tool that your company video, et cetera, that you could play. Or your team, a recording of your team meeting or something that you could play. Yeah? Yes. But there's something that's happened. Now we get more scale with a link because I can text you a link. And hey, if I text you a link, would you watch it? When would you watch it for sure? So if I called you after that, you'll watch it for sure, right? What's the best number and time for me to call? All right, here's the link. Bloop. Now, first of all, almost nobody does that. They just send the link to everybody. Say, please watch, please watch, please watch, please watch. Difference between amateur and professional. Just a few words change your results completely. But in addition to that, a link is, even though it's fast, it's cheap. when it was tangible, physical, I gave somebody something, they could hold it, it weighed something, it had a little bit more value in the person's mind. When it's just a link in a text message or something on their phone, it doesn't have the same kind of value. So it takes a skill set in order to get people to value it, which means you don't need to send the link until they've already agreed for sure that they will watch and they give you a time. You cannot send the link without doing that. Okay? So, the world, everybody wants to take a shortcut. Copy, paste, send 1,000 people the link. Please watch my video. And they wonder why everybody runs away. It's a few more words. It's like, 40 more words to totally change your life. But you need to go through them. So, I miss the physical, tangible. And I understand that we have scale, but many of the companies that I consult with and I talk with, I coach them to create a tangible in addition to the digital. So there's something with weight to leave behind. There's something to send home. There's something in addition that just adds some credibility. So all of this stuff, you're going to use tools and you're going to use events and you're going to use electronic tools as well as physical tools. All that stuff's fine. But here's what I got to tell you. This will work and it will help you grow and it will help you build a business even if you don't have a lot of skill. But at some point in the presentation part of your skill, and please make this note, you need to learn how to say the words yourself. You can't just push play forever and to be an influencer. You can't just drag people to meetings forever and be an influencer. At some point, you've got to say the words. Maybe not for your prospects, but for your team, for their prospects. You've got to learn how to effectively communicate the vision of your product, the vision of your opportunity, the vision of your company. You have to. It's got to come out of your voice. You hear what I'm saying? It'll change your life, and it'll scare you to death all at the same time. Speaking scares people. It scared me growing up. I remember, when you had speech class in high school, and everybody had to give a speech. And I remember, because I was a W last name, I was one of the last ones to do it. And I was terrified for 3 days. The countdown, watching meltdown after meltdown, or great person after great person was even worse. But counting down the days until I had to do it, oh God, somebody kill me. So, when I got involved in network marketing, what changed everything for me is somebody told me the person with the marker makes the money. And I went, okay. I guess I got to go get that marker. I guess I got to get up in front of the room. I guess I got to do it. So the first thing I'm going to encourage all of you to learn is your basic opportunity presentation. You say it. Let me tell you about our company. Let me tell you about our products. Let me tell you about our compensation structure. Let me tell you about the support that's involved if you decide to join us, and let me tell you about the timing that you're faced with at this moment. And here's the call to action. Let me help you make a decision. Learning how to say those words. I learned how to say those words pretty early when it came to the opportunity presentation. After I learned the story, every one of you needs to become good at it. If you're on Jessie Lee's team, it's really easy to say, just watch her videos. I don't need to do it. But you will never be the leader that you're supposed to be unless you do. So I learned to do the presentation. Scared me to death. The first one, I wish I had a video of it. It was so awful. I stood up. My mind left my body. It's like, It was awful. But I learned from it. I got better the next time. And I got better the next time. And pretty soon, I was one of the best people in my city. If somebody heard that I was doing the presentation at a local opportunity meeting, they brought more guests. And you know what that did for my team? My team went, that's our leader. That's our guy. My team started to perform. I started to have influence with my team because I earned their respect by me doing something that I was uncomfortable doing. So I earned their respect, and people started to pay attention. People started to listen. And my team started to say, hey, can you come do a presentation at my house? So I could come to their house and say the words. Would you get on this call so I could, conference call we're going to do with the team, so I could say the words for them? And they edified this whole structure. I was like, wow, okay. So I learned how to do this, and it's not just about ego, it's about effective leadership. Because if you do it and you communicate well, people will respond and they'll perform for you. Not for you, for themselves, but because of you. Next, I learned how to do a getting started training, a basic training. Just how to join and get going. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. How to get some results, how to get moving. We're going to talk about that in a bit. I learned how to do that, and I learned how to make it really, really tight and strong. And pretty soon everybody was saying, hey, will you sit down with my team and help me get them going? Fantastic. Then I learned how to do more skill training. If we did a Super Saturday, I could do more on a Super Saturday. And then ultimately, I learned all of the skills, and I learned how to do a keynote talk. Anybody ever listen to that talk I did when I was 29 years old? Have you ever heard that talk? Way back in the day, whatever it was, 94, something like that. I did this little talk when I was 29 years old. My voice does not sound like my voice today at all. I listened to it. I'm like, who's that? It was a different person. But let me tell you what happened the day after that talk. My team was proud. I was a recruiting tool just as much as the product was. I was a recruiting tool just as much as the compensation plan. Eventually, you've got to say the words. Now, if you want to be a top-level influencer, when it comes to the presentation skill, you learn your story, and you teach other people to do the same thing. You learn your opportunity presentation, you teach other people to do the same thing. You learn getting started training, you learn all the skills, you learn eventually to do a keynote. If your company, listen to me, you want to be an influencer? If your company calls you and gives you 30 days notice to do a 12-minute speech at the company convention, you need to be ready. I got 90 days notice when I was 29 years old, and I worked my butt off for 90 days to be ready for the moment. Changed my whole life. That 12 minutes changed my whole life. 12 minutes changed everything. It built something in me to go, you know what? I'm enough. I've got this. If my team right now is not willing to perform, I'll find somebody else. Doesn't matter. I can make this happen. It built a confidence in me that I didn't really have in any other form. Now, if you want to measure your influence, you need to measure, because we live in a world of bits and bytes. And those bits and bytes, I've got to tell you, are not enough to grow true influence. You can't just send the link around the world. Some of you are great presenters, incredible, amazing. But here's the question. How many on your team are amazing? How many people on your team are currently capable of doing an amazing opportunity presentation? How many people on your team are currently capable of doing a getting started training? Or do they just play the video? Or did they just invite somebody to somebody else's Zoom? Are there like 8 presenters in your whole company? And because of that, it's just the same 8 revolving on the different Zoom calls and everybody plugs in? How deep is your presenter skill set? I work with different people around the world. I coach different leaders around the world. And one of the things that I teach them to do is put together a presentation school in every major market. Find one person, if you have one amazing person in your city, have that person take inventory. Who in that city would like to become a great presenter? Come to my house every Monday night. We're going to work together for 3 hours in a safe environment. 10 weeks from now, you're going to leave here as a graduate, being ready to take on the world, do a presentation in anywhere you want to do it. If you want to measure true influence, measure how many people can say the words in your team. It's critically important, okay? It's not enough to just push play. It's not enough to send the email. You've got to learn to say the words and drive it deep. This is a big measurement. So presenting. After presenting, skill number 4 is following up. Most people don't join after one presentation. Hey, here's my product. Most people don't join right away. Hey, here's a business. If you join my business. Most people don't start a business after one conversation. We assume that they will because maybe some of us did. But most people are like, I've got some questions. I got to think about it. Some people just need some time, all kinds of different things. So just always be assumptive, like, of course you're probably going to want to join and come do something with me because you're a smart person, and together we can do something amazing. But also don't be stunned if they say, I need a little time to think about it. Don't be freaked out if they say, I got to talk to my spouse. Don't be sad or frustrated if they say, I don't think I have the time, or I'm not sure if I have the money. It's normal. Here's your job in follow-up. Remember I said all business is conversation? Here's what all follow-up is. You ready for your notes? All follow-up is keeping the conversation going. You have an exposure? Keep the conversation going. Open-ended. Don't close it. Set the next exposure. Keep the conversation going. Answer a question. Keep the conversation going. Have them try out your product or service. Keep the conversation going. Introduce them to somebody else. Keep the conversation going. Bring them to an event. Keep the conversation going. Send them a link. Keep the conversation going. Show them some positive news. Keeps the conversation going. That's all it is. An average person takes at least, I've said forever, 4 to 6 exposures before they're ready to make a business decision. Now, many of the products are just really easy to make a decision. Oh, this makes sense. I want it. Seems fairly priced. Give it to me. I'll take it. But to start a business, I've said for 30 years, 4 to 6. I would say today it's probably more because it's so digital today. An exposure can be links and posts and all kinds of different stuff that doesn't have the same weight. It might be more because we get bombarded with messages every single day, and this is just another message. So being patient and talking to enough people, having enough conversations going on that you don't have too much pressure on any one of them. I mean, if you start a conversation with 100 people and you're just keeping them all going, your job is just don't end any of them. Seriously. Don't end any of them. Just keep them all going. Well, I don't think it's for me. Well, before you totally make your decision, let me introduce you to somebody. Before you totally say no, at least try the product. Come to this event. Check out this site. Whatever it happens to be, keep the thing going. Exposure to exposure to exposure to exposure. Here's the key. The only reason to have an exposure with a prospect is to schedule the next one. Your intent is to just keep the conversation going. That's the intent. You keep the intent there, everything else gets easy. There's no pressure. You don't have to worry about, when do I go in for the kill? Don't worry about that. Just keep the conversation going. Your job, they say, well, I've got to think about it. Schedule the next exposure before you finish this one. That's cool. You need to think about it. Fantastic. What do you need to think about mostly? I don't know, the compensation plan. All right, fantastic. If I sent you some information about it, if I sent you a video, if I introduced you to a friend, if I had somebody explain it for you, would that be helpful? Oh, yeah, that'd be helpful. All right, fantastic. I'll send you that. How long do you think it'll take for you to kind of go through that material? Oh, I need like a week. All right, so if I called you a week and 8 days from now, would that make sense? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Fantastic. What's the best time for me to call? Call me in the morning. Your cell phone? Perfect. 11 a.m. to next Tuesday. That work for you? Yeah, that works for me. Fantastic. I'll send you the information. If you have any questions, give me a call. If not, I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Next exposure is set. And when you talk to them then they just say, I don't know about the ingredients in the product. I'm not really sure about the ingredients in the product. Now, mind you, they haven't looked at the ingredients in any product for the last 22 years. They're sipping their Diet Coke saying, I'm not sure about the ingredients in your product. What's the sweetener you use? I mean, like really? Come on. As they're going through Taco Bell. You know what I mean? But they're trying to sound smart. It's okay. It's natural. A lot of objections. Let me tell you about objections. In this exposure of keeping it going, keeping it going, keeping it going, keeping it going, objections are going to show up. They're going to show up. And stop being surprised because it's going to be a handful of the same ones for the next 50 years. They're not going to change. They haven't changed in the last 30. I can't expect that they're going to change much in the next 30. But let me tell you why. I've kind of analyzed why is it? Number one, there comes a time in every presentation when a person goes, a real business person would throw in an objection around now. Maybe I should do that just to sound smart. Seriously. You're presenting and they're going, Are you part of the Better Business Bureau? What's your scientific advisory board look like? Oh, really? They'll ask all kinds of crazy stuff just to sound smart. Sometimes it's just a reflex. You ever walk into a retail store and you need to find something and you don't know where it is in the store, and the person comes up and says, can I help you find something? You lie. No, I'm just looking. The professional understands, they back away, and they wait. If you need anything, just let me know. All right, thanks. Yeah, leave me alone. 3 minutes later, they can't find their size. Professionals like, are you ready? Yeah, show me this thing. So they're just reflex. Some people say, hey, would you like an opportunity to make money? Their reflex is, money? What are you talking about? I'm good, I'm cool. Sometimes they just need clarity. They're seeking clarity. They're not looking for a fight. They're seeking clarity. They're like, is this one of those things? I had a friend of mine say, is this one of those pyramid? You work with those pyramid things. He saw the look on my face. He says, I don't mean anything negative by it. Because how do you clarify what this is that we do? You say it's network marketing. People say, oh, computers, nice. Right? It's crazy. So, objections are natural. And let me tell you one thing. Objections are your best friend. Without them, you will not build rapport. Without them, you will not build certainty in the prospect's mind, clarity in their minds, understanding. They won't. The objection itself helps to educate them. Helps them see a picture. You want them to ask the question. I don't think I have the time. I used to be terrified by objections. I used to be just terrified. I hated them so much. I hated them like I hated lima beans. You know what I mean? I still hate lima beans. But person would come up with an objection, I'm just like, oh, I thought I had a good person. Then they said, I don't have the time. I'm like, so you know what I did? I ran away. Some will, some won't, so what next? I'm gone. I don't have the time. I'm going to go find some people who have some time. Bye. I don't have the money. I'm going to go look for people who aren't broke. Bye. I ran away. I bought their story. In every conversation, somebody's buying and somebody's selling. And they sold me that they didn't have the time and I ran away. They sold me that they didn't have the money and I ran away. They sold me. It wasn't for them and I ran away. I got sold. So at first I ran away. Second thing I did is I fought everybody. Once I got a little education, information, people say, you know what, I just don't have the time. Oh, you know how many hours there are in a week? When are you going to stop wasting time watching television and scrolling on the internet? When are you going to take charge of your life and walk away from all those other distractions and do something for real? I would say these words. How do you think it worked out? Then I'd get really, really defensive about network marketing. Oof. Is this one of those pyramid things? I'd say, oh yeah, like everything in the world, like the government, like every sports team, like every company. Is that what you're talking about? Yikes. I tried the cute ones. No, it's not a pyramid. Those are in Egypt. I tried that. Didn't work out very well. I'd win the argument, lose a prospect, but I win the argument. I can win the debate about network marketing. You can't win with me. I'm going to win. But I wouldn't get any progress. And then I finally learned how professionals dealt with it. If there's anything you want to try and figure out, just go find 5 or 10 people inside the profession that are amazing at it, interview them, find out what they do that. That's what I did. Did you know there's only 2 kinds of objections in network marketing? Just 2. One is a limiting belief about the person. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not a salesperson, I'm too introverted, I don't like people. You know, all these limiting beliefs about themselves. I don't have the time, I don't have the money. That's just all limiting beliefs. Because if you really understood what this was, you'd find the time. You'd find the money. That's not even real. It's just a limiting belief. Or they have a limiting belief about network marketing. You know, maybe they have a friend, they tried it, or somebody else in their family tried it, or they've heard bad press about it, or whatever. They got this limiting belief about the profession itself. And so because of that, they just say, you know what? That's a filter, not for me. Fantastic, no problem. I used to hate it when somebody started judging network marketing because, I had my own insecurities already, and they would just pile on. It was brutal. So I learned how to deal with objections. I'm going to give you a very simple process, 4 steps to dealing with any objection. Would you like to just be equipped to use an objection to your benefits? Number 1, listen. Listen to what they're saying without talking, without interrupting them, without waiting for your turn to talk. Just listen until you really understand where they're coming from. Listen to what's going on. Listen to the inflection of how they're saying it. Listen. Until you fully understand. You might have to ask a few follow-up questions to fully understand what it is that there is the issue. Listen. Number 2, relate. Relate to that person. Help them not feel like they're crazy. Person says, I don't have the time. You might ask a few questions about that, and they tell you, their story about not having much time. Then relate to them. Here's what you do. You say, I had the same thought that you're having right now. When I first looked at this, I didn't think I had the time either. We're the same, you and me. They say, I'm just not sure about network marketing. I wasn't either. You have the same challenges I had. I'm not sure if I have the money to do this. This seems like a big decision. Me too. This was a big decision for me. Even though I was making enough to make a living, everybody thought I was okay. I still didn't have very much at the end of the month, and this was scary as far as an investment. I didn't want to be a loser and whatever. Whatever it happens to be, relate to them so they feel we're the same, you and me. Okay, listen, relate. Third is to tell stories, yours or others. Tell stories. I got this concept from an old Amway tape I listened to years ago. And the title of the tape was To Build Your Rut and Let Other People See Their Own Challenges in Your Story. That you get stuck in a rut, build yours. And here's what this means. Somebody says, I don't have the money. Don't say, yes, you do. You can figure this out. Or don't even give them advice, because that's what we're tempted to do. Let me tell you how to. And now it's a talking down to them, subservient type of a situation. Here's a better way to do it. Tell a story, your story if it's appropriate to you. Somebody says, I don't have the money. Say, I totally understand. We're the same, you and me. When I first looked at this, I barely had enough to keep the wolves away from the door. I was already freaked out about what was going on at work. I had credit card debt. I had student loans. I had these different situations. Nobody else knew that I had these financial struggles, but I had them. And when I looked at the $1,000 it was going to take for me to be a part of this, it scared me a little bit. And I wondered if it was a worthwhile investment to add to the stress that I already had in my life. But let me tell you what I realized. At this stage of my life, if $1,000 was going to make me nervous, I bought the wrong plan. I was stuck in the wrong situation. I've been helping other people get rich for too long. So I just knew that for things to change, I had to change. I had to look at things different. I had to decide to invest in me instead of investing my time and my life in others. So I made the decision to get creative and resourceful, and I found the $1,000, even though it scared me a little bit. And you know what that $1,000 turned into for me? It was a symbol of my commitment to change my life. I decided that I was going to make that change, and I could do it, and I just had to say no to a few things and say yes to my future. So that's my story. Now, I didn't say one thing about them. I said it all about me. And then it's just a quick step number 4. If I would you. If I could show you how I got creative to figure out the $1,000, even though it scared me at first, and it was the best decision I ever made, if I showed you how I did that, the decisions I made and the lessons I learned, if I could show you that, would you be willing at least to take a look at it? Understand what I did? The answer is almost always, 99% of the time, it's going to be sure, show me. You could do the same thing with time. I don't have to have the time. Me either. I was freaking out about time. I had work pressure. I had home pressure. I didn't have any time for myself. The kids were pulling at me. I had to do this and I had to do that, and to think about I'm going to start a new business and try and carve out 10 or 15 or 20 hours. Oh, it freaked me out to even think about it. It wasn't the money, it was the time. But then I realized that if I didn't control my life at this stage of my life, was I ever going to with this plan? I took a look at this and I realized I might have to make some sacrifices to make the time work in the short term, and it might even be less comfortable today. But 5 years from today, I'll buy my time back. 5 years from today, I'll have more choices. 5 years today, I'll have more freedom. Because if I don't have time now, if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm never going to have time. So time's our freedom, right? I want to be able to enjoy that. So if I could show you how I got creative to figure out the time and why it was worth it for me, would you be willing to take the next step with me? Yeah, sure. See what I mean? And it's the same 4 steps with any objection. And in that, you build rapport. Now, one quick thing I'll give you on network marketing haters. Anybody have a network marketing hater? I love network marketing haters so much. I wish, like the biggest critic in the world, most educated, sharpest person you could find. My dream is to go on live television with that person, like on the halftime of the Super Bowl. And just have a discussion. That's my dream. Or on YouTube or anything, anywhere, anytime. But they always run away. I've tried for 10 years, every single one. All the big names, I've tried every single one. And they just like, no, they don't want me messing up their deal. But somebody comes to you and says, network marketing, stop talking. This conversation is over. Is this one of those things, pyramid deals? Are you about to go to jail? You ever get those? Here's my process with those. I love those. Oh, if you have any, send them to me, please. It's the greatest conversation ever. But here's the conversation. You just go, stop. You've got a story. What happened? Was it you? Was it somebody in your family? You can't have this kind of emotion unless you got a really good story. So forget about my opportunity right now. I don't even care about that. Tell me your story. Tell me. What was your company? Do you still have some product in the garage? What happened? Tell me, I gotta know. That's why your car is pink. I get it. No. It's a great company, fine company, unbelievable company. So, I love that. And they usually say, no, I just don't like it. Oh, I said, come on. I'm not trying to sign you up. I just got to know. When was it? When did it happen? And they finally, they usually just drop. They just, 7 years ago. My brother-in-law got me into this stupid thing. I told everybody. Signed up a whole bunch of people, and then the company went out of business. Oh. I'm so sorry to hear that. That had to be bad. You put your reputation on the line with all these people. They followed because of you. They joined because of you and your recommendation. Then the company went out of business. Oh, man. How did you deal with it? They tell me their story. I've heard all these stories, all of them. And I empathize with them. I'm really sorry that happened. But let me ask you a question. Was it network marketing that let you down, or was it that particular situation? They say, you know what? Because companies go out of business, right? In every field, every day. This one was a little more personal because you were recommending it. I get it. And they'll usually admit it wasn't network marketing. And then say, let me ask you this. And I'm not saying you have to. And I understand the pain and I understand the reputation. I get it. But if you could ever feel comfortable that the company was going to be around for the long term, if they were solid, if they were real lifers and they were doing it right, and you felt confident in the security of a long-term thing, is there ever a situation where you might consider getting involved again? If you were comfortable. And almost always, almost 100% of the time, they'll say, yep, sure. Sometimes it's I got in and my upline pushed me around and bullied me, and they told me I had to do this and I had to do that, and I finally got sick of it. Then I would say, do you think it was network marketing that let you down, or was it that upline that was pushing you around with their out-of-control ego? Yeah, it was the upline. Let me ask you this. If you felt comfortable that an upline situation was never going to be that, and you could be what you wanted to be, was there ever a situation where you take another look? Answers, of course. Whatever it would happen to be. Here's what I know about somebody that hates network marketing and says never, ever, ever again. They're going to join again. It's in the blood. You're going to die with it in your blood. And it's either going to be finished business or unfinished business. One of the two. You're going to live with your results or you're going to live with your regrets. One of the two. How many people in this room at some point tried network marketing and said, never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, don't talk to me, I'm not doing it? Raise your hands, please. And here you are. So, find somebody in network that hates network marketing. They're one of your best prospects. They're joining again. It's going to happen. If you say, I was burned out. Whatever. Code words for all kinds of things. So, does that help a little bit? Follow up and keep the conversation going. Objections, just a simple formula. Listen, relate. Tell stories, ask questions. One thing about stories, sometimes your story might not be appropriate. They say, it's not a good time now because I'm 8 months pregnant. You can say, oh my gosh, me too. You can't say that. Especially if you're a guy, that's a problem. And please don't ever say, oh, I know exactly how you feel. No. Avoid that conversation. But what you can do is tell somebody else's story. You say, I totally get it. I understand. You got a lot of stuff going on. But your story reminds me of somebody on the team that just decided that they wanted to start their business and extend their family at the same time. Even though it was crazy timing, they decided to do it too. And here's why they did this. And if I could and maybe even introduce you to that person, and they could tell you their story of how they did it, would it be a conversation you'd want to have? Sure. If you say, a person says, it's really challenging for me, I can't do it because I'm a brain surgeon. Me too. You can't do that, me too. But you can point to other doctors and physicians within your organization, somebody who can relate to their story. So it's your story or somebody else's stories, but stories are very, very powerful. Listen, relate, tell stories, ask the question. The ultimate question in network marketing is, if I, would you? It is the most powerful question you could put in your arsenal. If I, would you? If I gave you this link, would you watch? If I told you this story, would you listen? If I invited you to this event, would you attend? It works on about 15 psychological levels. It is thermonuclear. It is amazing to help a person move forward when their instincts are to be frozen. Keep the conversation going. So.